Hello and welcome to Arsenal Domination, where I want to sort of talk about the comments made in the last sort of 24, 48 hours by Josh Kroenke and Mikel Arteta surrounding the summer and next season. A lot of criticism or commentary, I should say, online about the fact that we hear this every season from Arsenal. And look, in some ways, you hear it from every club every season. We want to go better next season, or we want to repeat this season if it's been a particularly good season. So I don't think there's anything sort of surprising about that. You don't often sort of see managers or players, unless they're agitating to leave, sort of calling out anything in particular over the season. They sort of express their disappointments, express their desire to get better, all the usual things. And that's exactly what we heard yesterday. And you'd expect to see that given the season hasn't been as good as we were hoping for, and has ultimately been a disappointment despite the two semi-finals and a second place in the Premier League. But I think the fact that that is disappointing sort of shows how far Arsenal have come. Would have bitten our hand off for that a few years ago. But obviously, that's no longer where the club is, and it's absolutely right that we can be disappointed with that. Um, Mikel Arteta, obviously, sort of, let's start with him first. He sort of touched on two things. Really, the first one was the players need to go away, relax, and come back refreshed for next season. I think that's absolutely right. I think that's absolutely pivotal, and I think we sort of see the effects of that not happening last year in this season, not just at Arsenal, but across the board. And you've sort of seen the quality of play across most teams and most top divisions sort of decrease, but particularly in the Premier League where it is so much more physical. And you've seen that particularly at Arsenal with the injuries and just the lethargy in our play at times. But I think more importantly for the summer, he talked about the need for investment, the fact that Arsenal, and he's meaning here Josh Kroenke and the directors and our Andrea Berta need to get this summer right after last summer. Josh Kroenke also touched on that, saying that he was basically promising investment and that Arsenal would get it done and they knew what they were going to get done. But I think they're both sort of positive comments in terms of the fact that Arsenal need to go and get these things done, and they must do. Last summer and last January, of course, very disappointing. I've spoken about before, but I think the club kind of warned us that that was likely to happen. They talked about the sort of floor raising rather than ceiling raising signing, which sort of pointed to the fact that the financial fair play rules were going to be tight and the market wasn't great, and we sort of saw the effects of that. Um, you know, Slightly different in January, I think, but the money are there, and I've sort of linked a video there talking about that. But ultimately, this summer looks and feels very, very different. I think those woes have eased. I think the market will be much more there, and I think Arsenal now need to go and deliver on that promise. The fans need it, the players need it, Mikel Arteta needs it, and I think if they don't deliver trophies next season, I think that's where you start to have real concerns about Arsenal being sort of a nearly team rather than a winning team. So the proof is in the pudding, and they now need to put their money where their mouth is. And we will talk a lot about transfers and the like over the summer. But that's what the Conquistadors said. Over to you and Mikel Arteta now to deliver.